welcome. Good morning, good afternoon once again. Welcome everybody to the Jonas Emeritus Foundation's Global Youth Leadership Program. This is our third session. Today's discussion will cover the interfaith and civil society contributions to building peaceful and inclusive societies, a detrimental topic under the theme of culture of peace, living together peacefully and cohesively. Cherishing our differences in intercultural and interfaith perspectives. We will hear from many valuable speakers, experts in their respective areas, and youth advocates as well. And today's discussion will be led by the president of the JWF, Mehmet Kilic. So the platform is yours. Over to you.
Thank you, Cemre, for this wonderful welcome remarks. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. And I know that we have, colleagues, friends joining us from all over the world. And also, I would like to say Ramadan Mubarak to those who are observing Ramadan and fasting. And I know it's a little time, maybe left for some of you in Africa and Europe for the iftar. And for others, like New York, it's still morning. We still have like quite maybe 8-10 hours, but it's still good. So as my colleague Cemre said, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the third session of this Global Youth Leadership Program. And we have a very important topic for the third session, which is interfaith dialogue and civil society contributions to building peaceful and inclusive societies. And we have 4 expert speakers, and 2 of them are senior speakers, but 2 others are youth speakers, youth leaders, who are doing amazing work in terms of interfaith and intercultural dialogue, which is really crucial for building peaceful, inclusive, and cohesive societies. As an international civil society organization dedicated to the culture of peace, human rights, and sustainable development, we really give emphasis to interfaith and intercultural dialogue, which opens avenues for dialogue, mutual understanding, and as we appreciate our commonalities and respect our differences. Personally, I believe that interfaith and intercultural dialogue really builds bridges across different faiths, religions, and beliefs. But of course, it really requires for us to listen to one another, learn from one another, and embracing our shared humanity. For that, in New York during Ramadan, many organizations, put together events that brought people of different faiths together to share the table, the food, and have really, good conversations about religion, culture, or our common problems in society. And of course, our youth representatives, we are also eager to hear your insights and experiences on the important role of interfaith dialogue in promoting peace and harmony in our society. As you are joining us from different parts of the world, we really would like to hear similar or different stories, your personal experiences or ideas on interfaith and intercultural dialogue. Now it gives me pleasure to introduce our first expert speaker for today's discussion, Dr. Rajendran Govender, who is a dedicated advocate for social cohesion. He's a distinguished social anthropologist, currently serving as a commissioner of the Cultural, Religious, and Linguistic Commission of South Africa. And he is an influential voice in promoting inclusivity and understanding. Dr. Govender regularly features on national TV and radio as a cultural commentator, as a newspaper columnist, and Dr. Govender continues to play a vital role in shaping cultural conversations in South Africa and beyond. And he's also one of our esteemed and honorable advisory board member. So, Dr. Govender, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you to both Mehmet and to Cemre. It is an absolute delight once again to be on this virtual platform. What an interesting topic. How can interfaith and civil society contribute towards building peaceful and inclusive societies? Now, firstly, to all the people or delegates that are listening in here, the importance of interfaith and intercultural dialogue. This engagement is so vital in fostering understanding and respect for one another, reducing the prejudices that we have of different people, and promoting peaceful coexistence. We must remember, in whichever country we are living in, the country is so rich in cultural, religious, and linguistic diversity. And sometimes there will be certain elements of discontent, disregard for one another, and so on, which should not be so. So today's platform is to just look at how we can mitigate this discontent that we have. Now, lessons learned from South Africa. Now, South Africa's journey from apartheid to democracy was shaped by leaders and movements that embraced inclusivity, demonstrating the power of unity across religious and cultural lines. Most of the religious organizations were steadfast in the apartheid government, and they fought so vigorously to end apartheid. So we acknowledge with a deep sense of gratitude how important religious organizations played in eradicating apartheid in South Africa. A nation is stronger when its people, regardless of faith or background, work together to address social injustices and build a common future. So by working together, our ethic will be much more stronger, and therefore we will be able to achieve much more. Now, what is the role of civil society in promoting inclusion? Civil society organizations act as bridges between communities, advocating for marginalized groups and ensuring that diverse voices are heard. The Journalists and Writers Foundation is one such civil society organization that continuously provide the platforms for debate, for discussion, for dialogue. And in this particular instance, encouraging young people to participate in interfaith dialogue strengthens future leadership committed to social justice and human rights. As the Commissioner for the Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Rights Commission in South Africa, the reason why this commission is important because people are so diverse. It is natural that the cultural, religious and linguistic rights will sometimes be violated. And through this organization, I have witnessed various initiatives that promote multiculturalism and religious tolerance. Firstly, the National Interfaith Dialogue Platforms. Forums bringing together leaders from Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, African traditional religion, and Judaism to discuss social issues and advocate for harmony. We will find that most of these organizations, they all have similar social issues. So if we can work together, we can eradicate the social issues together. Examples, peace-building roundtables, addressing xenophobia, gender-based violence, and poverty. And there are so many other things. The other day, I was exposed to a very, very important dialogue session, which was called Healing Circles, where people were put into circles in a form of a healing process. And it was such an interesting event. Then we also have mediation programs that use religious and traditional leaders to resolve local disputes, fostering reconciliation and through dialogue and shared values. Now, one very, very important thing that young people that are on this platform today can take note of, educational and awareness campaigns are essential. School-based multicultural programs, for example, where young people are taught about diverse religions and cultural practices to counter stereotypes and promote mutual respect. Because, we live in a society where stereotyping people is prominent. So if we have multicultural programs, we can eradicate this because people will be able to embrace each other's religion and culture. Then we have heritage and cultural celebrations. Now in South Africa, the month of September is known as Heritage Month, culminating in Heritage Day on the 24th of September. The reason why we have this Heritage Month in South Africa, the leadership in South Africa felt that South Africa is so diverse. So we need this 1 month so that schools, universities, workplaces and all can have programs to showcase the rich cultural heritage and learn from each other so that we can live in a much more peaceful and cohesive society. And what is the role of faith-based organizations? Charitable initiatives play a key role in addressing socioeconomic challenges such as poverty, education, and healthcare. Example, there's a project by a Hindu organization in Chatsworth, South Africa, which is called the Chinmaya Mission. They call it the Nourish to Flourish project, where every day they provide 5,000 meals to the disadvantaged. So as a Hindu organization, they do not only provide the meals for Hindu disadvantaged people, but all religious groups. Anybody that do not have a plate of food can come to the Nourish to Flourish project and have a hot meal every day. Therefore, projects like this will stimulate dialogue. Projects like this will encourage people to embrace each other, and that is so important. Now, call to action of youth leaders. Like today, we have a platform where there's youth leaders. Now, engage in interfaith initiatives like this. Participate in youth-led dialogues and cultural exchange programs. I am hoping that today will be the catalyst for the young people that are attending the session that will be infected by these discussions and go out into their communities and inject the communities with the process of understanding and embracing other people's religion. Challenge discrimination and advocate for policies that protect minority groups. Use technology for peace. You are all so technologically savvy, unlike we from an old school. You all are so much more with TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram, and so on. Use these platforms, use social media and so on to leverage discussions and use the digital platforms to spread messages of tolerance and understanding. The more messages you spread as young people, people start listening to you because you are the future leaders. Now, in conclusion, the success of a peaceful and inclusive society depends on our collective commitment to diversity and respect. We all need to work together, irrespective. When we leave our schools, when we leave our workplaces, we go back to our homes and we practice our religion. But while we're at work, while we're at school, let us try to embrace each other's cultures and religion, and let's be more tolerant, understanding, and accepting. By strengthening interfaith and civil society collaborations, we can create sustainable solutions for a more harmonious world. Let us try to be human again. We have lost the plot with all this global warfare and this terrorism and various other activities where people are labeled and they put into compartments. Let's break those silos and let's start to embrace each other, because diversity is not a barrier. It is the foundation upon which true unity lies. So with that, I would like to encourage the participants here today, especially the young participants that are, that have connected from different parts of this world on this virtual platform. Let us all, let you be the ambassadors. Be the ambassadors for change. Use this platform, use opportunities in your school, whether it's during your breaks, whether it's during extracurricular activities and so on. Use the platforms to create more dialogue. By doing that, we will all become human once again. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Govender, for this inspiring and also energizing, speech. I think, personally, I'm so much energized, again, charged. And, I think, some of the highlights from your speech that really resonated on me was to raise awareness on multicultural, linguistic, and religious understanding, which is very important. And you also gave some examples of Heritage Month that really fosters understanding of our rich, diverse human, heritage. And also another example, like hot meals for the people in need. I think that's important to provide nutritious food. I think that's a great example of how we can initiate dialogue. And for the young people, I think the use of technology and digital tools for social, for sharing messages of peace. I think that's important as well. I mean, many of the time people, they share, different messages, but I think, as we join different interfaiths in the cultural dialogue, it's important that we share those, photos, those messages, and also, that's how we can become ambassadors of peace, ambassadors of change through interfaith and intercultural dialogue. Thank you so much. Now, it gives me pleasure to introduce our second speaker, who is Saka Aini. He's a political education officer at the Akademie Klausenhof in Germany. He was born in Kabul in Afghanistan, and he then had to leave his homeland due to war and moved to Moscow at the age of 12. And then he emigrated to Germany with his parents. He has a unique story to share with us. He studied political science at the Westphalian Wilhelms University of Münster. He also worked as a language and cultural mediator for the ISAF NATO forces in Afghanistan. He speaks 6 languages, amazing, Said. He speaks Farsi, Pashto, Russian, English, German, Spanish. We have a world citizen. Said, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mehmet. You taught everything about me. Now I have to try it my way to who I am. I want to start with a presentation now. Give you now the presentation. Just a minute. Do you know how can I share the presentation in Zoom?
Do you see the green arrow showing up? It says
yes,
share.
no.
And if you don't mind, if possible, could you please lower your camera a little bit so we better see you?
Like this? Better?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I think this one. Can you see now my presentation now?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, okay. Just so the beginning is my way to peace. Why my way to peace? Because when I leave Afghanistan, it was war. And who was I am at the beginning, and who now I am is an identity what I found in between on the way of my life. I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan, and my parents was teacher and in the University of Kabul, and we are lived together with a lot of the people in Afghanistan with different culture, different ethnics, and it was everything friendly and freedom. Then began in this time from 1979 and to 1999, fighting some groups, the government in Afghanistan, and it was a time to understand why is war in Afghanistan for a child like me. I was between 8 years old in Afghanistan, and it was 2 parts in Afghanistan. One part, the government was very secular, and it was free, like democratic and communism in Afghanistan in this time. The religion was not so important for everyone. And then also for me and for my parents, on the way to school come some rockets and some bombs. It was very terrible in this time to be in Afghanistan. And after I want to faster to say, after this time in Kabul began the civil war. It was this time who I lost all of my friends, because my friends were in Afghanistan. There was Shiism, Sunni, and Hindus in Kabul. They lived with each other together. We 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 meet each other and we played with each other. But after this civil war in Kabul, everyone was like a different part. And for example, I speak Dari, and a lot of friends of me, they also Dari spoken. There was Shia, and we had in this time like in Europe, football fan, and for the club we had different parties for the politics. As the next is like this. Every one of these men or guys was a part of the ethnic groups in Afghanistan. For example, in the right side, Ahmad Shah Massoud and Dostum and Mullah Omar, and this one guy was in the middle, Mazari, and another one is, I think, I don't know the name. This one is very famous, Osama Milan and Gulbuddin Hikmatyar. And everyone in Kabul, my neighborships, was a different fan from these guys. And the children also, they fight each other. And after this time, sent me my parents alone to Mazar Sharif. Mazar Sharif also, I want to try to say about this religions in Afghanistan not more exist. Is like this Buddha in Bamiyan, they destroyed from Taliban 1997, and this group of the Sikhs in Afghanistan, they lived much more 300 years in Afghanistan. Now you can find anyone from them, and also the Buddhism statue is all destroyed. In the map in the down, you can see in Bamiyan is the place where the Buddhism is, and there are a lot of Shiism people, and also here have the ethnic groups in Afghanistan, the Pashto, Tajik, and Hazara. Hazara is Shia, and Uzbek in another one. After 1990, after this civil war, left my parents Afghanistan, and then began my way from Afghanistan to Mazar Sharif, and we lived there because in Kabul we had no chance to work, to live there because it was terrible. And after then to Tashkent, to Uzbekistan, and then after then we lived in Moscow, because in Moscow was my my uncle teach in university, and we lived in Moscow. We lived in Moscow between 3 years, and this time changed also my mind. I was different. I was in Afghanistan. I thought in Afghanistan when it is just one religion, is Islam. In another religion, or not, is real religion. It's not different. The people also. When I was in Moscow, I saw the people. They help us. They give us a room. They give us something for eat. It was different, and we talked with them, and it was like. And I thought, I'm not true. What do I say? What I think. After 3 years, my parents want to go back to Afghanistan, but it's impossible, because in Afghanistan it's the same situation like before, and we decided to go to Hamburg, Germany. And in Hamburg, Germany, we gave them the refugees, and after this time we start to live in Germany, and we moved to this part, west part of Germany, in there in Rede, and like in Northern Westfalen, means in near from Münster, where I study to live. And also it was very difficult to live in Germany, in a country who's more people live in Catholics. It was for example, in where we lived, it was in Rede. Rede is a small city between 20,000 people. All is very how to say, it was strange Catholics religion, and to know each other, to live with them, and also you all come from Islamic land country, and you want to explain them about Islamic, and also then the name of Muslims in Germany was not so good because of 2001 and the terrorism, and like this. Everyone said, "Aha, you are a terrorist, or you are a Muslim. You are like in this." It was very strange to explain people. No, I am Muslim, but I'm not a terrorist. It was very complicated to understand, to explain the people. Between my study in Spain, in Valencia, it was the next station of my life. When I went to Spain, I studied there between 2 years, social work and geopolitics in Gran Canaria, the politics in Valencia, social work. And also there is the next situation to connect to another language, another culture, another another it's the same religion, is Catholics, but different, like in Germany. And to understand, to talk with them, it was my journey, my life, very important. And now in Germany, I work in Akademie Klausenhof. We have 190 refugees from Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, and Ukraine, and a little part of another countries, Africa, and also Pakistan and Bangladesh. And my work is to show them how is the life in Germany together, peaceful, and who I am, what I began, and now I am now is changed. My mind and everything is different, not like before. And I try to help the refugees in Germany, because they are coming. They have the same biography like me. They come from war and wanna stay in a country who is peaceful, and the people also to teach them how the function of the democratic in Germany, and to, if they go back to maybe to Afghanistan, maybe to his country, that he knows what he now in Germany. Oh, so I don't know if you have some question. Can you tell me about this?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sahid, for your presentation and sharing your amazing journey from Afghanistan to Moscow to Germany to Spain, and it really tells us a lesson of how sometimes religious intolerance really affects the lives of many people. And as you explained in your presentation, once in Afghanistan, it was a very diverse society of Sunnis, Shias, Hindus, people from diverse backgrounds living together in peace. But later on, when intolerance comes to the society through political influence, then that changes everything. Not only the society, people are leaving for their lives, but at the same time, that religious intolerance really destroys religious and cultural heritage, which we've seen and then that really was, like really heartbreaking as well. And your travel is more than 8,600 kilometers all the way from Kabul in Afghanistan to Germany, all the way to Spain. And you lived with people with different cultures, religions, and nations. You communicated with their language. Now I understand why you speak 6 different languages, because in every country that you traveled, you not only engage with people, but you learn the language. I think that's important because, as Dr. Govender mentioned, it's religious, cultural, and linguistic understanding is important, because it's better to speak the language of the people. And now I think what you're doing is amazing to helping the refugees who are going through similar situations, similar experiences that you went through. Now you're touching their lives and their children for the betterment of their life. So thank you so much for your presentation. So we will come back to everyone with our Q&A session. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our first youth representative, Firdevs Dilekchi. She's an undergraduate student studying a bachelor's degree in political science at the University of California in San Diego in the United States. She's a member of the Pacifica Institute Advocacy Group for the Youth. She was very active even when she was in high school. She was the president of the UNICEF Club, where she organized many programs and events to help children in need. Firdevs, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you today. My name is Firdevs Dilekchi. I'm a first-year political science student at UCSD. I would like to talk about my interfaith dialogue experiences as a member of Pacifica Institute, a nonprofit organization that seeks to accomplish its vision by engaging in a variety of civic activities. First off, I would like to start by mentioning that most of the longest wars and conflicts in human history have been religiously motivated, particularly between Christianity and Islam. However, both religions share hundreds of common principles, and people fail to recognize the shared values that unite them in peace because they remain distant from one another and closed off to understanding their own religions deeply. In any form of dialogue, I believe that it is crucial to prioritize the unifying points rather than the divisive ones. If I take a step back, I increase the distance between us. So instead of scratching and deepening a wound, applying a remedy by promoting understanding would be a wiser approach.
There's apologies for the intervention, but I sent a message to Said, but if he can please stop sharing his screen, we'll be able to see Firdevs on the full screen. Thank you so much. Apologies again. Please go ahead.
Now, let me share some of the activities and programs. This year, Pacifica Institute organized a 12-week attendance-based online certification program on strengthening interfaith bonds. It began with around 40 young participants from the Western United States. We attended lectures on different aspects of dialogue from distinguished figures such as Dr. Alp Aslandoğan, Dr. Ahmet Kurcan, Dr. Sofia Pandya, and Father Alexei Smith. And this was the first certification program of its kind in our region, and it was highly productive. In addition to our young participants, many elders in our community also showed great interest. I believe that a much broader course will be organized soon. And I would like to share a lesson I learned from this online dialogue program. In Dr. Ahmet Kurcan's lecture, we learned about ways to establish healthy communication with people from different cultures or backgrounds while preserving our own values. Dr. Ahmet Kurcan shared a quote that really caught my attention, and I took note of it, so I would like to share it with you guys today. He said, "Differences will always exist. Eliminating them is oppression. Ignoring them is indifference." So we can understand that differences among people, whether ideological or cultural, are natural and inevitable. Moving on, there's another activity that I would like to share with you. As you know, a major fire disaster occurred in Los Angeles earlier this year. So a group of our friends participated in the Los Angeles Food Bank and prepared food packages to those affected. We also had many valuable programs this month. Due to the month of Ramadan, iftar dinners were organized at temples, churches, and universities. In the city where I attend my university, which is San Diego, we organized an iftar dinner. We organized a law enforcement iftar dinner, inviting police officers, senators, and attorneys. Executive Assistant U.S. Attorney Cindy Capriani from the Department of Justice attended our iftar and remarked in her speech that it is wonderful for people to come together within the framework of dialogue. Additionally, the local news outlet OC Register shared our iftar on their social media, helping us spread our message. Also, as part of cultural communication efforts, Pacifica Institute also organizes whirling dervish performances every year. A group of elders from our community perform religious or spiritual music. In fact, at the whirling dervish performance held last month, Pastor Mark Splitter also joined us and warmly welcomed our guests with an opening speech. I believe that the biggest challenge for people of any culture or belief in the face of dialogue is the fear of assimilation or the risk of losing their way of life or their values. After all, every person exists with their sense of belonging and values and does not want to lose them. If we start with ourselves, develop our ability to integrate without assimilating, and truly believe in it, we can also convince others. So, a crucial first step is to assure others that we will not in any way harm their way of life or their sense of belonging. Personally, as I participate in interfaith dialogue programs and listen to people from different backgrounds and religions, my hopes for world peace grow stronger. I believe that our differences are our richness. When we approach one another with love, respect, and tolerance, society becomes more peaceful and harmonious. Interfaith dialogue greatly benefits communities, bringing people closer together. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Firdevs, for sharing your experiences, interfaith experiences, and I cannot agree with you that throughout history, people from different religious backgrounds, they had so many conflicts because of religious misunderstanding or disinformation. And it's important that we bring people together so that we get to know one another. And as you mentioned, all these iftar dinners, interfaith iftar dinners, brings community leaders, political leaders, community leaders, everyone in society, and it's an opportunity to dialogue, to talk about our common problems and what are our solutions to this. I think this is an amazing way to build peace and harmony in society. And again, I think I cannot agree more on you. More on the assimilation. Interfaith dialogue is not assimilating or changing other people's perceptions or their religious, cultural, linguistic background, but it is more to understand and respect, one another. So thank you so much for sharing your, experiences with us. Now I would like to introduce our next speaker, Ahmad Raza. He is a dedicated peace and conflict studies student at the National Defense University in Pakistan, which is committed to fostering positive change. Currently, he is translating all these academic insights into real-world impact as a citizen journalist and a peace activist, as a storyteller of change, His journey involves documenting compelling narratives on his YouTube channel that highlights the human side of conflicts and the transformation power of peace. And I had the pleasure of meeting Ahmad Raza from his video, which he submitted for the Youth Voices, Youth Interfaith Storytelling Campaign, in observance of the World Interfaith Harmony Week 2025. So Ahmad, welcome, and you have the floor.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Mehmet, for giving me the opportunity once again, and it's lovely to be here. And I officially start by distinguished speakers and fellow youth advocates who actually have joined this virtual space from various corners of the globe. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from Pakistan. I'm actually truly honored to be here today among all of you who are here to represent the voices of young change makers and committed to building bridges, not walls. So I would like to begin my presentation with the words of Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, who is a 13th century Sufi mystic. He says, and I quote, that the lamps are different, but the light is the same. Now, what I love most about this quote is that it beautifully captures the essence of interfaith dialogue. I think we all agree that all of us may come from different traditions, but at our core, we all seek meaning, connection, and peace. And when we talk about peace, it is not just the absence of conflict or war. In fact, it's the presence of understanding and trust among people. So, moving forward with my personal journey, I think it stems from my own understanding of interfaith harmony, which was started not in a formal setting, but in a village in Sindh, which is a province in Pakistan. Actually, it's a place which is very diverse religiously, ethnically, and where people like Muslims, Hindus, and Christian neighbors, they live side by side. And during religious festivals, be it Eid, Diwali, or Christmas, they visit each other homes, they shared meals, and they exchanged blessings. And I actually have the opportunity to saw firsthand while I was going through a fellowship that faiths may differ, but values like compassion, kindness, and hospitality unite us. And later, as a peace research fellow and a youth leader, then I began organizing and participating in interfaith programs, from dialogues with Christian seminaries to collaborative climate projects with youth from various sects and religions. And actually, these experiences deepened my belief that interfaith engagement is not just a nicety. In fact, it's a necessity. So, what inspired me to step into this space? Well, it was the realization that extremism, stereotypes, and prejudice, they are not born. In fact, they are taught often in the absence of understanding. And interfaith dialogue actually breaks that cycle. Our Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu, peace be upon him, once said that differences of opinion among my community are a mercy, which actually similarly, Pope Francis, he also emphasized the need for interreligious dialogue, which he says that these dialogues are a sign of hope and a path of peace. And these insights remind us that dialogue is not about conversion. In fact, it's about connection. And I personally believe that bridging cultures and faiths help dismantle stereotypes, heal wounds, and nurture peaceful coexistence. So moving forward with the commonalities and differences that occurs between different faiths. When we engage in interfaith spaces, I always start by recognizing our shared values, which are love, justice, and the dignity of life. But I don't shy away from differences. In fact, I celebrate differences, which strengthens the dialogue between all of us. So, as young people, we must move forward from the mindset of tolerance to active appreciation. Differences should not be feared, they should be understood. Just like biodiversity strengthens our nature, diversity should strengthen our shared humanity. And I would like to highlight here the aspect of respect, which is very, very important in today's world. And I think so, respecting differences is a key to both personal and societal growth. Because when we acknowledge and affirm identities other than our own, we create spaces where empathy can flourish. And as rightly pointed out by Desmond Tutu, who was the chair of Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which was established in South Africa, as very rightly pointed out by Mr. Rajendran, he says that my humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. And I think so, the lesson which we can also get from South African's history, from apartheid to a democratic state, is that if we struggle for our rights, then we can also, achieve our shared vision and our shared goal. So this understanding has made me more empathetic, inclusive, and resilient. And these are traits that are vital for youth leadership today. And nowadays, I'm also reading Nelson Mandela's autobiography with the name of A Long Walk to Freedom. And I would highly encourage all of you who are there listening to me that you should also read it out to actually know that how a nation can transform its fate completely. So, coming towards the challenges phase, yes, I believe challenges do exist. It's not always easy to dialogue with those who hold rigid beliefs, but I have learned that instead of confronting with facts, it's better to connect through stories, because stories have the power to heal trauma of the past, grievances, to actually create bridges between various communities who actually belong to different sects, different religions, and different faiths. I ask questions instead of imposing answers. And when dialogue gets tough, I remember what Mahatma Gandhi famously said, that an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So peace requires patience, humility, and the courage to listen. So I would like to highlight some of the initiatives where I worked for, and also have worked in the past. As a youth volunteer with the International Red Committee of the Red Cross and Al Khidmat organization, we organized community relief and service activities that bring together people of all backgrounds. And as was mentioned in my introduction, that I also try to create stories on my YouTube channel and all other social domains like Instagram, like Facebook. I try to amplify voices of peace, diversity, and interfaith unity, because the world needs more stories that heal the headlines that hurt. So I want to leave you all with some of the lessons I have learned in my entire journey. And these are actually three in all together. The first lesson is that dialogue doesn't always change minds immediately, but it opens hearts. Second, youth are not just leaders of tomorrow. We are navigators of today's complexities. And most importantly, peace begins with the courage to say, tell me your story. So let us rise as ambassadors of unity, as storytellers of shared humanity, and as builders of bridges that last longer than walls ever will. Thank you. Peace be upon you all. Shalom, salam, namaste, and peace. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for this inspiring speech and sharing your interfaith experience with us from Pakistan. And I cannot agree with you that faith is you have shared. I mean, we meet with people from different faith. Faith is different, but when it comes to love, compassion, and kindness, it's the same. So all religions, when it comes to its pillars or teachings, we have so much in commonalities, and interfaith dialogue in that sense is a necessity. And I thank you so much for sharing this. Saying of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said like differences among my community or community is a mercy. Definitely, I mean. If God wanted us to be the same, He could have, created us as one, race, one, religion. But He created us in different religions, cultures, traditions. So there must, there's a reason for this, so that we can come together. And I agree with you that we have to, focus on, commonalities and differences, and we should not shy away from our differences, because we have a lot to learn about our differences, and that brings a sense of understanding, appreciation, and respect. And likewise, we're facing challenges, but it's important to, to face these challenges and to share these positive stories to foster peace and harmony, and which you do on your social media platform on YouTube. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to open up the floor for Q&A session. You can raise your hand to ask your question to our speakers, or you can just unmute yourself, and you can ask your questions or share your reflections, or your insights. So now, for youth representatives, you have the floor.
I couldn't find the raise hand. Can I just ask?
Yes, of course. Yes, please.
I think it's a question open for everyone, and you have answered it briefly, but just to, I guess, visualize it. But how would you say a world where this interfaith dialogue has successfully been implemented in all nations? How does a world like that look to you?
So you're asking this question to Dr. Govender and the speakers?
Yes, to anyone who wants to to answer, yes.
Sorry, can you just repeat very briefly the question again?
Yeah. So how does a world where interfaith dialogue has been implemented successfully look to you?
Okay. So basically, if you look at examples of events and activities that are taking place globally, there are areas in the world where civil society organizations are doing everything possible to provide platforms for dialogue, platforms for peace initiatives, and so on. And that is being very, very well supported by other civil society structures and so on. And there's been lots of collaboration in these initiatives. However, there are places where, where there's lots of victims of religious intolerance and so on, and very little is being done. So we are hoping that some of these, like one of the speakers mentioned, that they have YouTube channels and so on, where they can promote and vigorously initiatives that are being done in order to promote tolerance, dialogue, and so on. So I would like to recommend that this type of initiatives continue, because like I mentioned in my presentation, that social media is very, very, very popular amongst the young people. And I believe through social media, through podcasts and so on, we'll be able to achieve our objectives. And we need to look at the best practices of structures that are doing a wonderful piece of work in promoting harmony through initiatives like this. So yes, we need to look at some of the world's best practices, and we need to emulate them, in our own environments.
Thank you.
Yeah, Said, you want to reflect to this question? You need to unmute yourself, yes.
I think I am the same opinion like Mr. Govender, because it's different culture and different people. We have in Germany also a lot of young people who don't knows about different religions and how to live with them together. We have a project in Germany. There are 3 religions together to meet each other every 2 months. There's Islam and Jewish and Christian, and they together works about to explain how to live together like in the same time in Spain. In the same time, the Spain leaves the Muslims. I have a lot of. I talked today to a lot of with my colleagues about different. I'm sorry, just a minute. In Spain was 800 years Islamic time. In this time lives a lot of three religions together. And we in Germany, we want to build the same situation like there. And we have some seminars in Klausenhof to explain people and also people to come here to know how they live together, friendly and peaceful. And I think also we have a lot of social media topics like TikTok or Instagram to show them, the younger people, to how live the people in his country. And when they come from here, they come from there here, and who they are. And because they have a different identity. We know in Germany, we see them in different identity because they are refugees. They come here and they want from us something, and to know what they want and who they are, and to explain the own people in Germany to understand that these people have some problems, and to live here friendly. They want just peace, not more.
Thank you, Said. I think it's important to give some, examples from history that, Muslims, Christians, Jews in Spain, Andalus lived in peaceful, and it is still viable. It's still doable. Firdevs, Ahmed, would you like to respond to this question? You can take the floor if you want.
Yeah, I would like to briefly answer this question. So, in order to build bridges between people and to ensure we have a peaceful world, I think we must first take like other people's thoughts and stances into consideration. As Hoca Efendi, Fethullah Gülen Hoca Efendi, a respected Turkish scholar and preacher, said, we must express ourselves to them correctly so that we can understand each other better.
Thank you for this. Ahmed, you want to respond?
Yeah, sure. I would like to briefly highlight here two case studies from history where interfaith dialogues were actually got successful in reducing violence and tensions between various communities. So the first example is from Indonesia, where there was interfaith peace building in the Poso and Moloko provinces of this country. These were the provinces where Christians and Muslims were in conflict in the early 2000s. So they took out an initiative where local civil society groups who got supported by international organizations facilitated the interfaith dialogues and peace building workshops. And the impact it had created and generated was that it helped reduce violence, and it built the trust, and even it mediated the local conflicts. And the second example is from India, where this Interfaith Foundation and Sarva Dharma Sammelan. Now, Sarva Dharma Sammelan means it's a common point of meeting of all faiths, which brings together religious leaders from Hinduism, Christianity, Sikhism, Jainism, and Buddhism. So yeah, this is another platform which promotes peace and tolerance in a country which often got affected by religious tensions. And I think it is deeply enrooted in the Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of interfaith respect, which still inspires many of these. And we also have another example from Northern Ireland, where it was this conflict between two communities. So yeah, these are some of the examples we have from history.
Thank you, Ahmed, for sharing these examples of peaceful coexistence from India and many different parts of the world. It is viable, it is doable. It just takes some time and also dedicated work on interfaith dialogue. Do we have other questions, or just unmute yourself? Or if you can just share your reflections on interfaith dialogue or your experience.
Hi everyone, I'm Barak. I guess from my point of view, I didn't really introduce myself, but I lived in many countries, including South Africa and Istanbul, Turkey. And interfaith for me, I guess, not really a question, but more like a share my experience. I really do think it brings people together, especially like religious celebrations that have like something in common with one another, especially Ramadan, which ties into Judaism and Christianity through fasting. And we recently had one, and so I live in Cleveland, Ohio, in the United States. And we just had one with the youth, and I really think it does bring people together because some people weren't even religious, but they were like, bring your friends, bring whoever you think is, respectful to us and what we're doing. So I also invited my friends, and I thought it was really enjoyable. I think it brings people together, not only on the basis of religion, but also culture, because if you can't approach them religiously, you can approach them culturally. Like I'm Turkish, so food is a big, I guess, thing for us. So people enjoy that, and I feel like we can use the intercultural dialogue, it was a dinner, events to not only reach people through religion, but also culture. But that's just my take on it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's intercultural and interfaith dialogue. That's how we say it, It's not always, we can talk about religion, but it's culture, language, and experiences, So I think that's important. Thank you, Burak, for sharing this. Any other reflections or questions?
I do have a short question, if possible, to Firdevs.
Of course.
Because you are also a university student, and I was wondering, so outside of clubs and kind of bigger events and activities, which are very important, on a day-to-day basis, what would you, I guess, recommend as a university student to promote this on a smaller scale? Because I think it all adds up at some point, everything you do and say, maybe. What would you recommend in a day-to-day interfaith work?
Yeah, I think participation is really important and significant in achieving that because, as you said, clubs and organizations, you can join or open your own club and spread your message, but also you can also take part in nonprofit organizations like outside of school, like I'm doing right now. I'm a part of Pacific Institute, so along with community service, I also organize interfaith dialogue events and programs. So I think being like communicating with your community and staying in touch with people for communication purposes would be I would encourage that. It would be really effective in achieving that. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. Can we hear from someone from Cambodia? Any, reflections or interfaith experiences? I think we have at least 3 representatives from Cambodia.
Good evening. Actually, we are like time is night, so I would like to speak up. I'm living in Cambodia almost 3 years, and as a Muslim in Cambodia, it's kind of culture shock for us because they are 99% of this country is Buddhist. So I've been studying here, and I've been volunteering as a teacher assistant at schools. So I have Buddhist friends, I have Buddhist students, I have colleagues Buddhist and also Christians. So actually, it's kind of diverse because when you live with the different culture, different religion, different background, it's kind of a good opportunity to understand people's point, understand the history. So basically, like as a student, as a university student, personally, I am kind of president of the club. I also join club. I also volunteer outside with my friends, with my local friends. So it's kind of good experience for me having them because when I ask a lot of questions from them, and they also does that, and when we have similar points sometimes because when it comes to the religion, when it comes to the like how to say it when it comes to the religion and when it comes to the point of view of people, it's kind of similar. Like they also believe to something, but they cannot just explain it. So for the Christians as well, we have very similar things, and it comes at the end, like everyone has question. So where is the beginning? And that's the interesting part of this. So as a Muslim, I always like I'm trying to explain my point of view from our religion to explain them our religion. I mean, it's kind of when they have question, and then when I answer like from our religion, they say it's like, oh, it makes sense. And I think it's kind of effective when you have like friends that you hang out every time, and then they just like this year they started to asking a lot of questions about my religion. So like they're asking, oh, like why do you believe, like what, like you cannot say why do you believe. That's that kind of questions. So spending a lot of time with them and going to their house, visit their house, um, knowing their parents, it's also help to build like good community. I mean, an everlasting kind of friendship, even if we have like different culture, different religion. Yeah, that's the thing for us.
Thank you so
Because
much, Dilekchi.
Can I also add?
Yeah, go
Can I
ahead.
also something add, if it's possible?
Of course, go ahead.
Do you hear?
Yes, we hear you, Madina.
Okay, so I'm also living now in Cambodia, and honestly, it's about interfaith dialogues. For example, this year we organized some iftars, dinners. Like now is Holy Month is going, Ramadan, and we invited some friends, Buddhist friends, Christian friends, to our iftars, to our dinners. And you know, it was amazing to see people's curiosity about the other religion, about the tolerance to other religions. For example, the interesting thing when we were organizing the iftar, they were asking how we need to wear, what we need to bring like as a gift, what we need to talk about, and it was really interesting experience for us. And I think it's about like in that kind of events, I see the really the um, miracle of the like when you are building the bridge between the religions, between the nations. So when people they are tolerant and they are open to know about your nation, about your religion, and you are also mutually asking about their religion, about their nation. And for me it's the important thing in building the friendship between the religions and between the nations. So that's all. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Madina, for sharing your experience. I think that's important to build to make friends, right? Lasting friends through interfaith dialogue. That's great. How about the UK? Can we have some reflections from friends from UK? Gulnar or Alisa, you want to share some reflections from UK? Or we can go to Mariam in Canada, North America. Let's hear something from North America, from Canada. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ahmed, Saeed, Firdevs, for being with us. I would like to give you maybe last 1 minute for your final reflections, your closing statements. Then we will do the closing. So shall we start with Saeed?
Thank you for inviting. It was very a new experience for me to talk with too much people in the world, in each country within this time, about peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saeed. It's great to have you with us. Firdevs?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me as well. I think it's wonderful to meet with other people that understand the significance of interfaith dialogue. It was really nice meeting you all, and I look forward to future endeavors.
Thank you for this, and it's great to hear your, interfaith experiences and the project that you are engaged with. And Ahmed, your final, remarks.
Yeah, thank you so much for actually inviting me here. I always, uh, I always feel privileged to be in these kind of spaces. And when it comes to interacting with people like of my age, so I always encourage them to take up initiatives and do all the best in whatever capacity they can, and try to build this world a more peaceful and a better place for all of us. And I look forward to collaborating with you in further opportunities as well. And I wish you all best of luck, whatever you are doing and whichever initiatives are you guys working on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmed, for joining. And also in the chat, I shared the, video message for Interfaith, Youth Interfaith Digital Story Campaign, video messages by Ahmed, Raza, and Firdevs Dilekchi. So please take time to listen to their messages. That was a great, message. And also Gulnar Gültekin from UK, she says she's not available to speak at this time, but she says, we have a special organization dedicated to dialogue. Recently, I volunteered in an iftar dinner organized in my own university. We had member of parliament coming and giving small talks about diversity. So that's great. Thank you so much for sharing, Gulnar. And we hear great news from Dialogue Society from UK. So many events in different universities, in the civil society organizations, in different platforms. So now we have just 5 minutes. I would like to give the floor to Cemre just for any reminders in terms of the working groups. We will work with you on the WhatsApp chat, and so hopefully next session we may have some more time to work on the working groups. So Cemre, for any reminders or anything that you would like to share.
Thank you so much. That was a very fruitful discussion, I believe, and thank you so much for the valuable remarks of our great speakers, youth delegates who joined this session today with their meaningful contributions. That was wonderful to hear from different parts of the world. That's what I cherish at our platforms at the JWF. The diversity in the room is always great. And I think as civil society members working on the culture of peace, human rights, and sustainable development, we have an immense responsibility on our shoulders to ensure that safe spaces of dialogue remain in our societies, at our platforms, where everybody can easily open up the values that they represent, the faiths, the norms of their beautiful faiths. So that is my call as a reminder to make sure that we continue our work to establish cohesive and peaceful platforms, not only during Ramadan, but taken advantage of many other holy times and occasions across the year. And maybe as a last reminder, I would like to note that April is around the corner, which means that the Economic and Social Council's sessions are coming up, as the yearly meetings of the ECOSOC Youth Forum takes place in every second week of April. So this time it will be from 15 to 17 April 2025. And the team, more information will be uploaded coming up, but the session will be focused on how to implementing the Pact for the Future, the recently adopted UN's agenda to take the global goals into the next level after its conclusion on the deadline of 2030. So we will be discussing some of the selected goals here noted as the SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 5, gender equality, 8, economic growth, 14, life below water, and 17, of course, global partnerships. And I know that we have many young advocates in the room who are already dedicated to implement these goals, who are already taking meaningful actions in their own local countries, regions, to make sure that young advocates are having an opportunity to be a part of sustainable development efforts. And there will be many sessions virtually organized on the sidelines of this forum. The Journalist Emeritus Foundation will, in fact, have one in-person session where we will open our platform for you to submit your oral statements, 3-minute oral statements, and we'll share more info on that coming up. So the team will continue sharing links where you will be able to see the list of virtual events listed. It's not announced yet, but we will continue keeping you all up to date. And please, I would like to remind you that attending 2 virtual events or in-person events is a requirement to finish this program and receive your certificate of completion, in addition to writing a blog post. So we really look forward to receiving your reports on the events that you have been attending and any ideas, that drafts, or you have been working on to submit your blog posts, essays to the Journalist Emeritus Foundation. So that's all from my end. If there are any quick questions, we can address them or move to close today's discussion.
Thank you, Cemre, for sharing the ECOSOC Youth Forum. Just wanted to echo what you said. This is an important platform. And when we talk about youth meaning ages 18 to 31. So you will be youth this year and next year and the following years. So don't consider this just an occasion for this year. So we will be encouraging young representatives to come to this in-person event. And if not this year, but next year as well. And there will be more opportunities. And also, as Cemre mentioned, there will be virtual platforms. Just, engage on these platforms. This is one of the most important, platform for the youth. So is there any last words, any question before we close?
So excuse me, can I ask when our practical part will start?
You
Our
mean
practical sessions.
the working groups, right? You're talking about? Yeah. Actually, we were planning to, have a session on that, but however, it might be because of the Ramadan, we did not have everyone, in the session. So that's why, we will, do it next, session, but we will not wait until the next session. So we will, send you some messages. So basically for the working groups, so we have currently, let me just share my screen and just briefly show you what it is. Okay, here, working groups. All right. So currently, we have people signed up for the human rights group, quality education group, and the interfaith group. So for each group, we have, people from 8 to 9 people. So basically, what we really would like to do with this group is just to come up with some lead persons. Okay, so we will list the people over here, and we would like you to, like to meet and, nominate yourself as a lead person to one of these 3 working groups. So once we have the lead group, lead persons, it could be 1 or 2. We encourage at least 2. Then we would like you to, come up with each working group to have a meeting. So it will be the lead persons to invite the rest of the members for a Zoom meeting. So we would like you to, at least have like a couple of meetings, and we would like you to come up with some agenda items and some meeting minutes. And also, we don't have much time, but don't consider this as just until June or July. So we would like you to come up with a project, okay? Or it could be a campaign, a digital campaign, or it could be a virtual event. So each group can organize a project. For example, last year, I would say, we had 4 working groups. They come up with a project meaning a PowerPoint presentation that has the name of the project, the purpose, the goals, and then phase 1, phase 2. If it's going to be a virtual event or project or a campaign, I can share an example with you. So we would like you to, come together on a Zoom meeting and discuss your agenda, what you would like to achieve with some tangible results, and then share that with us. And once you have this project, then we will continue, because you will be our alumni, right? For throughout 2025 and 2026. Then we will try to implement that project in the coming years. Okay, so that's the plan.
Thank you so much for answering the question. And the last question, where we can find the Google, like Excel, Google Sheet for filling our names, because we already voted in WhatsApp in the that you send votes. So should we also fill our names here, the list that you are showing now?
Yes, I mean, we will, share that with you. Priyanka will share that with you, or we will put your names over here. And what we will do, maybe, once, like you will nominate yourself as a lead person. Again, I said, we need at least 2 lead persons. Then we would like you to come together, okay? The lead persons will invite the other members and to meet. All right, so
Okay,
we will put your names over here, because this Excel sheet is internal use. So we will put your names over here, but we will share the members, of the working groups, so that we can start, meeting and discussing. So that's a good part, of meeting together and having different ideas from, friends from different parts of the world. Any other questions? Okay, Firdevs, Firdevs is one of our youth representatives here. She's in the WhatsApp group, so you can reach out to her through that for Mariam. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and happy Ramadan, and hope to see you next time.